Did you know there didn't used to be grocery stores? It sounds stupid, but people used to actually have to hunt for their food. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of hunting, how it became a sport, and how it's now about conservation. I have done my research on this more than most people want to do, mainly because I like it and want to know more about it. So, let's talk about the origins of hunting. Hunting was a way of life according to Hunting by Encyclopedia Britannica. They used many different weapons to kill many different types of animals. They used sticks, rocks, and clubs to kill your smaller animals like your rabbits, squirrels, and birds and such. And they used larger weapons like bow and arrows, spears, and blowguns to kill your bigger animals. So they would also push animals off of cliffs, and then they would beat the ones that were still living. And they would take their meat, their hide, and bones, and they would all use that. Back then, they didn't waste much of materials because they needed it to survive. Through 90% of history, people were hunters and gatherers. So that means through most of this world, we have been hunting. Since hunting isn't necessary anymore, many people do it for sport now. Hunting became more of a sport for like macho men and higher up officials, according to how hunting became for macho men by New York Times. Kings used to shoot deer, and they wouldn't allow peasants or poor people to do it because it was a high-class animal for them to kill. It was considered the king's meat. In the early 2000s, many people began just hunting for trophies, and they would not care about the environment, just kill as many as they wanted, just to get trophies. People didn't realize the effects these had, but this caused a shortage of animals for a while. Now that people started to realize the effects of overhunting and just trying to go for trophies, and they started noticing the populations declining. Recently, hunting is more about conservation, and it's helped increase animal herds lately. According to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, in 1907 there were 41,000 elk, but today there are over 1 million. In the 1900s, there were 500,000 deer, but now there are over 32 million. It sounds dumb, but hunting animals actually helps them. When you put a value on an animal, it makes people want to set aside land for them so they can have an area to live. And those people make sure they're healthy because they're worth a lot now. Through licensing and fees, hunters donate $796 million for conservation a year. And hunting groups donate another $440 million for conservation. That's more than any other conservation group out there. This is how hunting has helped conservation. Hunting has changed a lot over the years. It used to be a way of life, then became a lot about trophies, and now it's helping conservation. Hopefully it helped you learn a little more about hunting. Thank you.